Got it.
Hi, everyone. So it's just me today. Daria's stepped aside and let the boys kind of take over. And today we have Jesse from Float Toronto. So we met Jesse at David Avocado Wolf's place, if anyone knows the name drop there. And we kind of hit it off right away. He had a cool vibe and next thing you know, we're talking online and laughing at each other's memes and such, as boys will do.
For sure, man. Instant brotherhood.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know what to do without my better half to lead me along, because I'll just trail all over the place. But maybe start with yeah, like what you guys do, kind of how you got started, how'd you end up running a float center?
Yeah, no, good question. I'll try to just kind of summarize the origin story of what got us here. But I guess if I go way back without going on too many tangents here, I was about 27 years old. So that's 10 years ago from now. We just turned 10 as a business quite recently. And me and my buddy we were into holistic health, and we were entrepreneurial and just sort of adventurous, and we were kind of on the lookout for something that was like a little bit bigger, a little bit more of a business that would have a bit more of an impact on the community around us, and maybe like a little bit bigger scale than the ventures we had already got into. So we were kind of looking for something, and we didn't know it would be floating at first. When we first kind of stumbled into it, it was really just more of a hobby, something we thought was really cool. When we found out about it, and we kind of were traveling around trying different float tanks, and then eventually we were kind of like, well, hey, like this is pretty cool, and like if we can figure out a way to offer this in a commercial setting, I think people would want to do this. And not only that, but it seems like it would be one of those things that would only be more relevant as time goes on, as
Mm.
technology takes over and integrates into so many different aspects of our lives. We thought, it's probably not going to go out of style because it offers a complete break from stimulation, a complete break from notifications, a nervous system reset. Like the experience was so cool, and it just seemed like it was the right time for it. I think that's what it was. Like when I kind of reminisce back on it, I always have this thought like, you have all these ideas throughout your life, but it's not always the right time for them. And for whatever reason, it just felt like this is the right timing. Like, at least for us to give it a shot. You know what I mean? So like I said, we kind of had nothing to lose in a sense. Like we didn't have families yet, and we didn't have even wives or anything like that. We were like, let's just like go for it and see what happens. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? We could fail. Big deal. We'll do something else, right? So we're from the West Coast, so we were gonna open a float center in Vancouver. That's where we were at the time, and basically like halfway through the planning process of that, another center opened up downtown Vancouver, and they just knocked it out of the park in our eyes. Like they opened a really beautiful space, and they really executed it like I think like better than we could even imagine. In a way, we were kind of blown away, like wow, like they really pulled this off. And so we started floating there, and the dream kind of faded a little bit, like the fire dwindled a little bit, and we were like, oh, like someone else did it, maybe this wasn't for us or whatever. And then somewhere along the line, we kind of came back to it. We're like, no, but like maybe there's a way. And like, if we're going to do this, maybe we have to consider going somewhere else to kind of be more first to market with it, to like give the business the best chance to succeed. And as we looked at like a map of Canada, basically, there was just this like big bullseye on Toronto. Like it was just a kind of funny moment in our journey. Like none of us we never even really been to Toronto, to be honest. It was just like, there's the biggest city in the country, and like there's not a float center there. And like oddly enough, maybe they even like need it more than the people on the West Coast. Like that was kind of how we saw it. We're like, it's a concrete jungle, there's not much nature. I mean, obviously there's a beautiful nature once you just drive like 2 hours outside the city, and it's been fun exploring that. That's a whole nother topic, like since I've got here, but we kind of just packed up and came over here, and we had raised the money, and we started looking for spaces, and then just kind of one thing led to another, and we ended up opening our center with 5 float tanks on the west side of Toronto in 2014. So yeah, that's kind of the nutshell of it. Obviously, I could dive into different parts of that, but that's kind of what brought me to where we are right now. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Sounds like a wild journey. I'm
Yeah, it was
curious,
crazy.
like, was it before the Joe Rogan kind of craze took off? Like
Okay, good question. It was, you're hitting the head on the nail. Yeah. So this is what was really going on. Like at that time, Rogan's podcast was like under 100 episodes, right? So it was very small compared to what it is now. Obviously, it's the biggest show in the world. And we were listening to that among other, kind of resources that were talking about floating, but he was talking about it quite a bit at that time. And he was like really hyping it up. And because of his reach, there was this funny situation where there was like a huge demand for a service that literally didn't exist. Like that was kind of part of what was happening for us in like being motivated to start the business. Was like, we knew that right off the bat, there would be millions of people who knew about floating, who had never tried it and had nowhere to do it, basically. So it was like, it gave us this like confidence to like really go for it, because we kind of felt like we knew something no one else knew. We're like, okay, we're going to open this obscure business that's going to sound so random to most people, but we knew that there was going to be, like I said, like so many people that would want to at least come try it. So yeah, that was probably like in 2008 when we were listening to Rogan, and when he was talking about it, and that's where I first heard about it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you guys were like, you were floating in the ocean, and then literally like the wave like started, and you guys were already on it. It's like you guys were already on the wake, ready to like jump on your board and just go for it.
Totally.
Nice. Yeah, because I'm trying to think how far back when I first tried it. We coincidentally enough had one in Sudbury. It was nothing special. It was just 2 tanks, but the guy had some major health problems, and then he tried to float and just helped a whole bunch of his problems that he had. And then he was like, "Okay, like I'm going back to my hometown and I'm opening up a place." And it was just really small and modest, had like nothing special, not like no spa environment. And then just I went a bunch of times there, and then it closed down, and then we had another one, and COVID closed it down, or they had complications and stuff like that. So now we're without one. If anyone listening wants to, hop over here and build one, there's clients waiting.
For sure. And there's a pretty decent market for used float tanks out there. So you can get a steal of a deal on one if you are looking in the right place.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, well that'll be our entrepreneurial journey outside the podcast, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, because I remember I was briefly exposed to it in other ways, and I can't even remember how. Like maybe like the King of the Hill television show way back in the day kind of poked fun at it.
Yeah,
I'd heard about it before Joe Rogan, but then at that time, like I don't know if it was that at that time, but when I was listening to Joe Rogan, he was just like, it was a tangent. It was just like nonstop. Like someone he'd bring it up, and then it would be like an hour conversation, all of the float tanks and the benefits, and then it was just like, it was almost like a wave hit the internet, because I remember it was like all over the internet, like magnesium, all the magnesium in there, and all like it was like every day you'd see a new like little factoid about floating and how amazing it was. And that's a good place to be, is in front of that rise in the popularity.
For sure. And yeah, man, it's a very unique environment, the tank. Like it really is like nowhere else on earth. Like it's just you're completely without senses temporarily. The water is basically heated to the outside of your skin temperature. It's like skin receptor neutral is what we say. And there's no lights in there. I mean, there's a light, but you can turn it off and then it's pitch black. Like you can't even see your hand in front of you. I'm just kind of explaining it for anyone who's kind of
Yeah,
wondering
yeah, no,
what
that's
we're
great. That
talking
was gonna be
about.
my next question anyways, kind of just break down,
Yeah.
all the goodness of the float.
Yeah, like the whole idea is to deprive all of your senses simultaneously, right? So you don't see anything, it's completely dark. You don't really feel anything once you get in there and you lie down and you find a comfortable position and you let the water really settle, because your skin sort of merges with the water because they're the same temperature. So when the water stops rippling and you're just lying there, you totally lose track that your body's even there. And there's a bit of a sweet spot to be found there, that usually happens like when you can settle in. Usually it takes about 15 or 20 minutes. Maybe, if you've done it a little bit more, you can do it a little bit quicker, but you can really get into this zone where you just feel like you're in a void of nothingness, and it's totally blissful and it's super cozy. And once your mind stops just like going through whatever residual thoughts you were having before you got into the tank, eventually, because there's no stimulus and your brain doesn't have to do anything in there, doesn't have to decipher any information, any sounds, any smells, anything, it just kind of downshifts into this resting state where, I mean, I don't even want to say what happens because it's like different for everybody and it's different every time you do it. And you just come out of there feeling pretty good, pretty relaxed, pretty loose, pretty carefree. Like usually whatever was bothering you doesn't really bother you as much. And what's in there is basically high grade Epsom salt. So it's like the highest quality Epsom salt that's out there, essentially, which is magnesium sulfate. Um, and there's about 1,000 pounds in each tank. So there's so much salt that it really makes you float, like you're floating on top of the water like a cork, like the front half of your body is out of the water, and you can relax your neck. You don't have to you don't have to hold any part of your body up. You can relax every single muscle at once. You can put your hands back, behind your head. You feel like you're lying on a cloud or something. And yeah, it's like good for joint decompression and muscle relaxation, and it lowers all your stress hormones, and like all these things start happening in there, and they all start happening together, right? So it's like you're not only getting the physical benefits of, the magnesium relaxing your muscles, you're also getting the like stress hormones getting turned down, and like the mental relaxation, and people use it for all sorts of things. Like people, someone may use it for back pain, and someone may use it for, visualization, but inevitably you get both when you're in there, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool. I would say, like, I mean, obviously I run a float center, but it's like if anyone's listening and there's a float tank near them, go at least try it out. Like it's a pretty novel experience. Like even if you're not going to do it all the time, just go try one out, because there's not, like you said, there's not float tanks everywhere. So if you have one close to you, like, yeah, go check it out, go try it.
Yeah, like that was a big thing for me. I was doing a lot of kickboxing, Muay Thai, and like the decompression of my joints, just being able to like if I lay in bed at night, I still have tension on my body, but when I floated, it almost felt like all the tension was gone. Like even gravity was gone. So it's almost like I could feel my body like lengthening, and just like took the tension and the pressure, any negative body awareness I had would leave, because it was just, yeah, like you said, like your body can actually fully relax, and there's a force pushing up against the gravity that's not like a cushion or a bed, but it's also hugging you not even hugging you, it's supporting you perfectly. And that
Exactly.
was a big piece for me. It was like, oh wow, like that's huge back relief and
Totally.
knees and stuff like that.
Totally. Like your spine is completely unraveled in there, right? Like it's more than just lying on a yoga mat. It's like it's completely, lengthened out,
Hmm.
and to the point where, like, yeah, if you have any like disc issues, like you can relax in that position, right? And so like you're like a little bit taller in there. Like it makes sense that like you'd come out and just like funny things happen at the float center. Like people leave behind like canes. It's like almost comical. It's like that. Like you'll find a cane or something. Like, okay, that guy didn't need that, I guess, right? There's, I got all types of stories like that. But yeah, man, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm glad that you've experienced it a few times. And I think I've talked to one of those guys who was running that float center, Brent, the older gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times.
Yeah, he was in Sudbury for a while, and I think he moved back down south some years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I think I've done it probably about 10 times now.
Nice.
Definitely, like I would like tell people like when I was like proselytizing it, like I'd say like you got to go more than once because you need practice to like
Totally.
shut everything down and then just feel the experience. Because like I felt like when the hour was up, it's like, oh shit, okay, I'm kind of like I'm figuring out how to get it. It's like meditation, right? The first time you meditate, nothing happens. The second time, it's like, okay, I kind of like maybe at the end I felt something I could like tease out and I'll like chase that like that feeling. And that's how I felt with the float tank was like, oh, okay, like next time, this is what I'll do before. I'll do this. And when I get in there, I'll try to do this right away so I can just like reap the benefits sooner. And I guess I kind of combined it too, a la Joe Rogan once again, where, going in there and visualizing martial arts stuff, which wasn't the best because I think I was dreaming at some points and I would like picture a kick and I would all of a sudden just like my leg would flail and just be like, oh my gosh, like, I felt like I was falling out of an airplane or something. But yeah, like
Exactly.
visualizing stuff or like body stuff you might be working on. Yeah, like some crazy experiences for sure. Like you could hear your like blood moving in your body, like just crazy stuff.
Yeah, man.
The one of the unique ones was they had a couples like a pool at the
Yep.
one that was here in Sudbury before it closed down, and I did that one a few times, and I think we did it with Dariya when she was pregnant,
Cool.
and that was like a unique experience, like just like trying to like channel it in and like I'm gonna send all my vibes and like good energy to her and like not going in for me and just kind of
Yeah.
going in like I'm gonna sit like all my thoughts, prayers,
Yeah.
everything's going to her, and that was really cool.
That's
And then
powerful,
also
man.
too, like you're holding your partner's hand, so
Yep.
it's like it was different than the end of their flow because like we're tethered together almost, so you couldn't feel anything, but you just had this light sensation in the other person's hand, so it's like we're kind of tethered. Yeah, that was a cool experience.
That's cool, man. Yeah, like yeah, there's all different kinds of tanks. Like there's single occupancy tanks, there's double float tanks, there's tanks that you kind of have to crouch in that look more like a coffin. That's kind of it's not the best reference, but it's just is what it is. You kind of, it's about 4 feet tall. And then there's cabins, which is what we have. They're like nice and big. So you kind of open a big door and walk into them and then lie down. And yeah, it's a very neat experience, man. It's a very neat experience. Like you were saying, like you have these moments where, like I like to describe it, like when you wake up in the morning and you're still dreaming, but you're waking up and you're just lingering in the last parts of your dream, and you're kind of in between
Mm.
waking and sleeping. Like I feel like when you get deep in the zone in there, you're in like that kind of space. Like it's sort of dreamlike. You start to have, you know, sort of thoughts that you don't really have during your normal waking life. And then time gets really weird in there because you have no sense of time.
Mm.
And I find you can kind of get deeper into your thought tangents because of the lack of any distractions. So,
I'm wondering what kind of, because I know my experience, and I'd like to know how have you felt? Because now you're someone uh, likened to a Joe Rogan or a celebrity or someone who's wealthy you have access to that. So now you're like like an astronaut. You're like
yeah.
Jacques Cousteau, the float tank. So like what have you noticed? Like it's 10 years, so I imagine you've done more than a few hundred floats.
Yep.
So how like your journey through that to where you are now, like maybe what it was like at the beginning, the middle, and like where you're at now. It's probably like a yogi practice for you.
For sure. Yeah. Like that's another good kind of observation and question. It's like it was another one of these, big benefits of starting the business. It was so interesting, the prospect of having access to the float tank, right? We were saying, okay, like if this works and we're able to get this business going, we're going to have access to these float tanks for a long time. Like it was one of the things to look forward to. And that totally ended up working out so well. Like I've been floating for 10 years. I basically floated once a week for 10 years. Like I kind of like at first I was floating a little bit more. There's periods where I floated a little bit less, but like after a couple years of operating the business, I kind of settled on once a week. I'm like, I'm just going to make it a once a week practice. I'm going to stick to it. And yeah, like it's definitely a practice. I definitely feel like I've gotten better at it. I can kind of get into the zone, quicker than I used to. And I actually feel like I'm having some of my better floats lately just because of where I'm at in my personal life and where the business is at. Like for the first few years, there was like I would go in the tank and there would be all these things I would be thinking about in terms of what I have to do and what we have to
You
do to,
mind, eh? Like,
yeah, like how we're going to improve and things that we didn't quite get right, but I wanted to, rectify.
mm,
And now, after we've like spent all these years dialing it in, the center is just so much smoother. We've had some like long tenured staff who, we really vibe with. And I have a couple young kids now. So it's like when I'm in there now, it's like I'm just so looking forward to it. And then, like you said, I want to get the most out of it and I have my own little rituals I do, before and after. And it's a total joy, man. I'm loving the fact that I still love doing it. Like
mm,
it doesn't really get old. Like it's just and like I was saying in the beginning, the more that this technology kind of takes over, like the more of a joy it is to get in this environment where there's just nothing. Like there's
mm.
no stimulus, there's
Yeah.
no texting you, you're unreachable. And yeah, man, it's a really beautiful experience.
Yeah, when you said it earlier, like you mentioned the concrete jungle, and like we actually might come see you guys in a few weeks there. We just got confirmation for the appointment I just made, but
Nice.
like I think about the city, I'm like, oh God, like, oh, just like, minus all the traffic and the EMFs or whatever, it's just like the buzz of the city, the energy, it's like I'm not used to it. And like when you get there, you're into it, right? Like
Yeah,
I've gone for like a week to Toronto before for like work training and stuff. And it's like you're into the pace. You're like, hey, cool, I'm gonna like drive over here, like I'll walk everywhere, it'd be super cool. I'll just find a parking spot. And like you get that energy builds up. But then you said it like, oh yeah, that's like the antidote to the city. It's just like, yeah, everything just closes off and you just like it's almost like
yeah,
power down your phone. It's like, oh, like there's too many tabs open in your mind right now. Like let's just do a little hard reset and shut
that's it.
down, restart.
It's a total reset. And like especially at our place, like we're on the west side of Toronto, so it's not the. I mean, it's totally it is the concrete jungle. It's totally the Matrix. Like we're pretty in it here, but it's a nice part of town. We're in a pretty nice neighborhood, and but it feels like when you walk off Queen Street, which is we're on Queen Street into the float center, it's like it feels like you're walking into a portal. Like
Mm,
just we have a nice easygoing vibe in the float center. There's like comfy couches. There's just
yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You feel like you walk into another dimension a little bit, and then you get into the tank, and then it all goes in reverse, right? You come out of the tank and you walk back out and onto the street, and it's just like, whoa, what? I can't believe this. Like, what another world this is.
Yeah, it must feel like people coming out and they're like on slow mo, just watching fast forward of the world.
Totally. Like it's funny watching people walk out back onto the street and just go like, whoa, like I'm slowed down right now. Like, yeah.
So you mentioned like people leaving canes. What are some of like the funny stories or like craziest testimonials maybe that you've had?
Um, man, we've had people. I, I people have left canes. People have just been blown away by the experience. Like people, like there's a couple people who like get brought there by a friend and like don't even know what they're getting into. Like it's just like they came along to go to the spa or go to, you know, this float center and they don't even know what they're getting into and they're just like totally blown away by the experience. I mean, I'm trying to think of something in particular.
Put you on
Nothing,
the spot.
yeah, nothing's like jumping to mind. If I think of something, I'll circle back to it. But yeah, definitely a lot of positive experiences, man. Definitely a lot of really positive experiences in there.
And I think it's um sometimes when people ask like health advice, there's things that pop into my mind that's like, okay, there's certain things you can't substitute. You can't substitute the float. You know, you can't have a hot bath at home and or your hot tub or go for a swim in the. It's just not the same.
Yeah,
And like meditation or like hopping in your sauna, like it's one of those things where if you have a particular problem, that can be a big tool in the right direction to like you said, back pain, like certain problems where sometimes some people's body, the stress is so high and the physiology, it's just they don't get a break from it because their body's in pain. It's telling them like, hey, like we got to do something about this, and it's just like it's shooting the energy out to them and then it's just shooting back in, so there's no break from that. Like someone who's just in total pain and agony, and it's like they can find something like that, and it can give them that break, so it can stop the cortisol and all these things that their body might be just triggering constantly because the pain is activating all these other sensory things or like stress hormones, and it's just like gives them a break for at least an hour that everything can just churn off. And like you said, like once the outside world goes down, like the body can be like, oh, okay, like maybe we'll deal with this part right now while you're in here and take some stress off of like not just your life, the bills, or the injury you have, and all these other pieces that go with it.
totally. Like, you know, locked emotions can bubble up in there. You can feel into aches and pains that you didn't even really know you had in there until you can have that space to like you know, isolate yourself and see what comes up. And the other thing is a lot of times we have no idea what's going on in there for people. You know what I mean? It's not like when they come out, we are asking them or questioning
Mm,
them. Like we actually try not to engage with people to a certain extent when they come out of there on purpose. Like it's, you
mm,
know, we're there to hold the space. We're
yeah.
there to, you know, host them. We're there to maintain the float environment in the purest and most pristine way that we can. And when people come out of there, a lot of the times they're still processing the experience. So if we go up to people after and we're like, hey, how was your float? Like even
Mm,
just an innocent question like that, you're making them put words and explanations onto
mm,
something that maybe doesn't have words, or maybe it's something
yeah.
so deep that it's not really even our place to get into it. So like we like train our staff and our team members to like to not really do that. You know, we kind of take a step back. We maybe we'll give a little nod, a little just like bow of respect or whatever when someone comes out. And a lot of times people come up to us and they want to tell you everything that they went through. Like that happens all the time. The only problem with that is that we don't always have the time to sit and like, you know,
Yeah, help them
and
integrate.
talk to
Yeah.
them. Exactly. So we have a little lounge there. And people come out and we have tea and you can sit on the couch and just, you know, integrate and process your experience. And we have a journal that people can to journal their experience in or color or whatever they want. And over the years, we filled up like I honestly probably about 20 or 25 of these like big notebooks.
Wow.
And when you go flipping through there and you start reading about what people's experiences have been, like it will blow you away. Like when you're here, you'll take a look at some of them. And that's been an amazing way to just kind of document what we've been up to
Yeah.
there because we don't really talk to anybody. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's pretty cool. And I can definitely tell you people have had some powerful experiences in there for sure.
How many times you find people like returning, like, where they're like you get some lifers.
Tons. Yeah. I mean, we're in such a densely populated area that there's definitely a bunch of people that have tuned into it and made it a regular part of their routine. Like we usually hover around 300 members. That's kind of like it usually, it fluctuates up.
Yeah.
During COVID, it went all the way down closer to like 200, I think even lower than that. But yeah, that's a pretty good measure. That's 300 regular floaters who are coming all the time.
Mhm.
And we can host about we host around 30 to 40 floats a day.
Wow,
That's
nice.
about it. So yeah, definitely some people have been floating with us since the very beginning, and it's cool. We
Uh,
get to know them a little bit, and our software system is pretty neat. It's like it's purpose built for float centers. It's actually
nice.
made by some friends of ours that operate a float center in the States, and they kind of help mentor people to open centers. And then they also develop this booking software system. It's called the Helm. And it shows us like exactly how many times people have come and just like tracks everything around the business. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Um, I had a question and it just popped out. But I'm curious. Well, I know it's like a lot of athletes and stuff following you. Like, do you get a lot of sports people, a lot of people going like purposely to like level up? It seems like you guys got quite the following of athletes and I've seen a couple big name fighters following you and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely tons of athletes. Like there's definitely like even just through the Rogan MMA community, like a lot of them know about it.
Hmm.
So we get a lot of MMA and fighters trickle in. We've made friends with tons of them. Like a few of our staff are big into Muay Thai and kickboxing and Jitsu, so they bring all their communities in. But yeah, we've had a bunch of the professional athletes from the Toronto teams come through over the years. Like a bunch of the Blue Jays were coming in for a while. I think some of the Leafs were coming. I don't think we've had any of the Raps. Um, but yeah, definitely like athletes find tremendous benefit from it because of how hard they push their body. Like it
Hmm.
gives you a bit of a rapid recovery. Like that's definitely one of the benefits of it. Like people like Tom Brady has like a tank in his house, and like Steph Curry's into it, and like I'm sure that tons of them are into it that we don't even really know about. But um, there's there's definitely an increase of professional sports teams that have put them into their training facilities. Like I know that for sure. Like I've talked to a bunch of them. I've helped guide them. I've
Hmm.
recommended certain parts of infrastructure to like incorporate. Um, and yeah, they can also use it for like visualization and
Yeah,
because
that's huge.
that's part of it, right? Like that's part of athletics is like you can get reps in just visualizing the reps, and
Mhm.
like studies show that that's maybe as effective as actually doing the reps, right?
Yeah,
So imagine if you're like a quarterback and you're like going over plays in there or something, right? Like who even
absolutely.
knows? Like we have a lot of actors coming in who I think are rehearsing lines and stuff like that.
Mm,
Then there's people coming in for just physical pain relief and recovery. There's people coming in, for stress relief. Definitely a lot of people who have had some type of trauma or some type of chronic stress that they're trying to kind of correct or like, you know, just deal with. But yeah, but like I said, we don't specifically ask what people are doing it, what they're using it for. So it's only when they kind of let us know that we get little
mm.
snippets here and there.
Well, 10 years, you're doing something right.
Yeah, man, it's cool. The 10 year was I felt proud, man. I felt proud. I must say, like it felt like a bit of a milestone, like, you know,
Oh, that's huge. That's
the
huge.
decade. Yeah. Like it I found that I got like a bit kind of re-inspired like
Mm.
in the last year here. I'm like, hey, 10 years, man. Like people are still wanting to do this. Like I feel this like obligation to like it's like beyond me now, to be honest. Obviously, and I got a business partner that started with me, a really awesome guy, one of my old time buds. And it's like it's just so it's a little bit bigger than us now. Like we see ourselves not as like necessarily just running a business. We're like the stewards of this place now. Like it has all this momentum
The
and
community now.
yeah, there's a whole community kind of that's rallied behind it, and the people that come through are amazing, man. We have really like almost 100% of the people that come through are just like super cool. Like our clients are super easy going. Go figure. They're like into
Yeah.
floating and you know a bunch of other cool stuff. But yeah, man, it's been just the journey of a lifetime, you know. And a lot of our staff, we've had staff stick with us since the beginning. Like we still have like two out of our first three staff are still with us that were hired
That's a lot.
in the first 5 months. So yeah, man, it's cool. It's really cool, man. And it's been a pleasure.
I know when I went to Brent's place, he had a forum like, oh, how did you find out about floating? You know, it was like a list, and at the bottom was like Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
He's like, you wouldn't believe that. It's like most people.
That's number one. Yeah, it's number one. Joe Rogan podcast, The Simpsons, Altered States, Hamilton Morris. Is that his name? Hamilton Morris? Something like that.
Sure.
He's like the psychedelic guy.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, man. There's been a few like other pop culture appearances of floating, but yeah, Rogan really blew the thing up. That's a fact.
Well, he did a service for a lot of people for sure.
For sure, man. It's cool, and that's it. We feel like we're of service, and our offering is floating. You know, we only offer one thing. You know, there's other centers that have cold plunges and saunas and you know, ozone saunas, red light therapy, like, and there's some really cool centers out there. And like, if we had more square footage, I'd love to, you know, potentially integrate some other things into it. But just the way it went for us, we just stick to the floating. Like we have a very specific purpose-built space. It's already a bit snug in there to fit 5 cabins in there, and we just keep it nice and simple. It's a pure float center. We did do one major kind of renovation / upgrade about 2.5 years into operation. We used to have that smaller type model of tank. It's called the Oasis tank. The one you kind of have to crouch into, and there was no light in there, so it's just the moment you shut that lid, it's just pitch black, which was cool. It kind of, you know, it took the training wheels off, right? You're just in it, right? And we swapped, but they were a little bit difficult to manage and maintain. And once we were able to upgrade, we made like a big, you know, kind of reinvestment in the whole thing, and swapped them all out and put in like, you know, a really nice model of a float tank by a company called Superior. If anybody wants to look it up, Superior float tanks. And so we have those larger cabins that are a lot more welcoming, just a little less intimidating for someone who's just like
UFO.
I'm not getting in that little thing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot more welcoming for like especially new clients now, because like I said, there's a light on in there, there's music on, like some nice, really relaxing music when you get in, and then it's just up to you when you want to turn the lights off and then turn the music off, and then you're in it. And then at the end of the session, the music eases on to kind of wake you up. And then about 30 seconds after that, the light fades on as well. So you can kind of come out nice and comfortably.
It's funny because I remember now when me and Dariya did the one, I think it was the one when she was pregnant, was they accidentally changed the setting. So the music didn't go off and come back on. It just stayed on, but it was like whale noises.
Yeah.
It was like all whale and dolphin noises the whole time. It's like, and then you hear like bubbles, and it was like, oh, like whale noises would be cool, but then it's like, must be like blue whales. You hear like giant bubbles the whole time. Like, yeah, how are you gonna record these whales with the bubbles? And then it went on through the whole float, and like, oh, that's pretty crazy.
That's the trip.
Then like, how kind of fitting, like this baby's floating around right now. Now it's just listening to like whales going off the whole time.
That's it.
Brought up a funny memory.
That's it. Like it's a womb-like experience, right? Like it's very womb-like. So when someone's pregnant and they're in there, it's like a womb inside a womb. So we definitely have lots of pregnant women come through and they love it. There's a lot of pregnant women who come through and they just find it so nice to be relieved of the weight of the baby and
Mm,
connect deeply
yeah.
with the baby in this really calm, serene environment where they can maybe hear the baby's heart beating. Um, and yeah, obviously that's just a really nice time to be taking it easy and just
Yeah.
taking a load off, right?
Did your wife partake quite a bit? Did
Yeah,
the
she
estate?
floats a lot. She's floated more than me over
Oh,
the years. Yeah, which is pretty crazy. She's got like a couple hundred more floats than me. She's really into it. And yeah, she floated a lot during her pregnancies.
nice.
Yeah.
That's epic. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Really, really nice for pregnant women. Highly suggested. We always say check with your medical provider, your practitioner before you do anything, but there's no harm in it at all. It's totally beneficial. Yeah.
Nice. So I was curious, kind of go off floating for a second, and as an entrepreneur, and you're a very holistic alternative guy, kind of how you've um how have you embraced, like, because we're obviously doing nature skills and stuff like that, kind of how have you kind of tied in those two worlds of living in the city, providing this great service, not only providing a great service for people who desperately probably need it, but also being of service while you do that, and living a passion, because if you were just trading stocks and you hated it, living in the city, that's one thing, but like running the float center, you're passionate about helping people, you're passionate about like bringing this thing to people, so you're living your life's purpose, embodying it all, and like how have you integrated the other pieces of the holistic lifestyle? Like, I know you go out and get spring water, you share that, and we chat
Yeah.
about spring water spots, but yeah, like how have you tied it with your other passions?
Um, I mean, that's just how I am, I guess. I mean, I have a background in holistic health. That's what I was studying that as we were building the ideas and the concepts for the float center out. I was in school studying holistic nutrition. And yeah, when I got out here, it's definitely something that like is like was like lacking a little bit more just the connection to nature from what I was used to growing up on the West Coast. So, I just have to make a mindful effort to make sure I'm still like getting outside the city and getting that time outside of the city. I mean, we love going to get spring water. I like when I stumbled upon that, like that was like an instant alignment for me. Like
Mm.
I had never heard of that before, but when I came to Toronto and I took a sip of the tap water, it was like I was like, what is this? Like I drank tap water my whole life, and like it's not the best in Vancouver, but it just tastes better, or maybe it's just what I was used to. So there was this like feeling like, oh, there's something different about the water here. And then my friend, who was a friend of David's, she was like, oh, we go get spring water here. We go collect it. And I was like, oh, right. And she took me to the spring, and that was 10 years ago. That was right at the beginning. And like since that day, I've never run out of spring water. Like it was like that much of like it
Yeah.
made that much sense to me that I was like, oh, okay, this is just what you do. And like I love doing that. Like it's my favorite day of the month is like getting it really is like because it's like it checks all the boxes, right? You get to get out of the city, you get to go have an experience in the countryside. Like there's plenty of nice little hikes and walks that we found out there that we always go and do something. Um, you literally get to go collect your water, which is like your future self. You know what I mean? Like I've heard you
Yeah.
talk about that a lot of times. Like, hey guys, we're 70, 80, 90% water. Like, what's that water? You know what I mean? Like, what's the quality of that water? It's such a good foundational starting place to get to is to like
Mm.
get conscious about the water you put into your body. And what could be more powerful than actually physically going collecting it yourself? Like I just love everything about that. And it's turned into just a total staple in our routine.
It's
Um,
it's a very spiritual experience for sure.
it
Like
really is, man.
once it's a staple, it's kind of like, oh yeah, like you're you're responsible now for your, intake of liquid. Now you've collected it. Now you're like fostering it into your home. Yeah, it just becomes like we go on a spring water talk for like days.
100%, man. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if I really answered the question, but I mean, it just becomes a way of life, in terms of like living holistically. Like, it's like this chain reaction. Like you start to look into water. Okay, you got to get quality water. And then you start looking into food, and it's like, okay, there's like all these things you just can't eat because it's all garbage. So, your whole diet changes. And then it's like, you know, it's more of a process of elimination, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like cut out all the bullshit, cut out all the like brainwashing media. It's just like there's no TV in the house. Like we have young kids now, and we're not interested in going out to restaurants. Like we just cook at home, and we're just like we kind of live in our own little bubble here in the city. So even though we're living right in the city, like we've
Mm,
just kind of like built our own little world within it. And life became quite simple for us as of lately, and we're just kind of loving it and enjoying it. Like just especially when we got the little ones, like they're just they like routine, they like
mm,
simplicity, they like being with us, they love going out and going to the spring. They love like I take my 2-year-old on a bike ride every day, and we go to High Park, which is like just done. It's definitely the nicest place in the city, if you ask me. It's just like the biggest forest that's
mm,
here, and it's pretty big, and nobody's there. It's like the weirdest kept secret in Toronto, if you ask me. It's like I don't know, understand why, but there's just nobody there. My theory is just because there's a slight incline from all directions to get there. So it's just like this effort.
no,
And it's just like this, there's a slight bit of effort to get into it. And we bike there, and I just let him off the bike, and he just runs around in the forest for a few hours, and like it's the best ever. It's just the best. And then we come home, and he's totally pooped because he's been running around. So he naps for a couple hours. I get to kind of work on the business for a little bit or whatever, take a little break. And yeah, what else? I mean, I'm also really big into sauna, like especially during the winter. Like we have a small sauna here at the house.
yeah.
I get in there every day. I like absolutely love it. Just like a part of my routine. And
Hmm.
then, learn lots of things through like, people like you and through David and, other kind of mentors about, fasting and different other holistic practices and remedies. And I'm just totally into all that stuff. Like I like experimenting. I like, you know, changing and growing and trying things and seeing what works for me, and just like honoring the fact that like we're all different and we all have a different combination of, you know, just
Mm,
things that work for us. And
yeah.
I'm just like into trying things until I find like certain practices that work for me and that I enjoy.
Mm. Well, I think it's almost like understated how probably how important, how beneficial it is you just going to like a park like that, And some people say, "Oh, you're in the city," but it's like so many cities have little green spaces, and like you said, just a little bit of effort to find
Yeah.
a little green space, and that can make all the difference between kind of being steamrolled by the city in a stress,
Yeah.
like cortisol,
Yeah.
like adrenal fatigue way, and it being like, it's like you're literally like floating above everybody else in this just like high vibe, high energy, high
Yeah.
vibration because you're going to the park, you're getting the
Yeah.
doing the sauna. It's like, okay, you can't be a monk in the
No.
mountains. It's like, okay, well, what can you do? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
get into nature. Where's the nearest nature? Boom, it's right there. Okay, like
Yeah.
this and this, and stacking those routines. Like I remember I was working at a car dealership, and there was a little creek that ran through it, and it's a popular creek in Sudbury because it's been polluted so many times and destroyed. And there's a little green space there from in between like a few subdivisions. And I would go there and like had a little spot carved out for me where like sometimes I'd meditate. Sometimes I like kicked a bunch of branches off the tree and I had like a branch to do pull-ups and I would like do workouts there. And then I remember one month, like I was telling all the guys in the dealership knew I'd go there. And it was like a 5-minute walk from the dealership. And they would maybe like a minute walk. It was literally like right in the back of our parking lot. It was just a couple trees in between a grocery store and a bunch of other stores and
Yeah.
subdivisions. And I was like telling the guys like, oh, there's like shopping carts in there, and like we should like let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like got all the guys who like aren't really, they don't give a shit, like they're doing their thing. They're tradesmen, they're working on cars, they have their families and they want to go home and chill. But like I'm hyping them up. And next thing you know, like we're all out there pulling shopping carts. Now it's a game.
Yeah.
Now they're like loading me up. They're like, oh, okay, go with this rope, with this hook, and see if you can get a shopping cart today on your break. And it would be like a fun game for them to see like, oh, Jeff pulled out 2 shopping carts today.
Yeah.
Pulling shopping carts out of the river, and then I'm like, oh, there's a big one, guys. They get stuck in there. Like I got 5 of my mechanic buddies, and we're all like pulling shopping carts out of the river. And it's not to like, it wasn't to be like I'm the steward of the river and like let's save the. It was just like, hey, like this is what I care about. I'm not gonna like post it for everyone to try to start some giant project. It was just like I'm here, I'm doing this thing, and it was just like a little green space, maybe a few hundred feet along the water's edge.
I love it.
A little drainage creek that runs through Sudbury.
Yeah, you got to work with what's around you, right? Yeah, and it's different for everybody. But yeah, I mean, like you said, with just a little bit of effort, you can definitely get a reset, even if you live in the city. There's tons of opportunities all around you for that. And yeah, you got to put a little effort in, but it's important, man. You can't just live in the city and like never take your shoes off and like, you got to get barefoot a little bit. You got to like touch some water, touch some grass, like get in some forest. And it's a beautiful city, to be honest. Like Ontario is beautiful. Ontario is a pleasant surprise for me. Like there's a general feeling everywhere else in Canada that just like kind of hates on Ontario. Like I don't maybe it's more BC. There's just like this general hate on for Toronto and Ontario coming from Vancouver. Like it's just you're just born with it. like everybody's just like, oh, Toronto, it's like so whack. But then getting out here and just like seeing like, oh, there's like 30 springs that are in driving distance, and like when you drive in any direction for an hour and a half, you're just in nature, and there's lakes everywhere and there's forests everywhere. It's beautiful out here. Like
I think
and you know what else?
Super.
It's sunny here. Like it was one of the things I realized when I got here. I was like, oh, I've like never seen the sun. I've like kind of never had proper sun for like an extended period of time. Like it's just so overcast over there. It's beautiful. I love it out there, and I go back there every year, and my whole family's there. And obviously I love BC and Vancouver and everything, but I love how much sun we get here. Like I'm really into it. Like I totally enjoy it. Like even in the winter, like we get blue skies and sun. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I find it so underrated, and so many people are like, and this is just me sometimes being like a poor curmudgeon where I'm like, why would you go to British Columbia? Like, why would you go to Alberta for like your vacation and go to Banff? I'm like, there's so many cool things here,
Yeah.
And like one of my bucket list things is to go to all the provincial parks in Ontario.
Yeah.
And it's like the diverse things that are here that like no one knows about is just so insane. Like there's one park where we near where we do host our vision quests, and it's Lady Evelyn Smoothwater Provincial Park. It's close to Temagami, and it's such a beautiful area, and we're like 2 hours away from like the nearest town, like into the bush. Like you're 2 hours past the nearest house.
Wow.
And like Ontario's highest point is in this park. Ontario's I think, largest and deepest crevice is in this part. And like, there's no tourist guide to that. There's no pamphlet you could pick up. Like, like we're near Killarney, and that's super beautiful. And a lot of people all over Ontario know about Killarney. And but like, there's some just like untouched gems and just hidden things where it's like, you guys don't know. Like, a big bucket list one for me is going to the ocean in Ontario. And like, you tell that to people, and like, they look at you with their head sideways. I'm like, yo, Hudson Bay,
Yeah.
James Bay, that's the ocean. Like,
Right.
that's ocean water. Like,
That's right.
there's oceanfront property in Ontario. You guys like,
Yeah. What a revelation that is.
it's like, you
Yeah.
guys want to go to the ocean. Like, why are we going east and west? Like, let's go north, go see some whales and like dolphins and stuff, not in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
The probably windows about 2 weeks where it's like hospitable.
Yeah.
Like, we got to do it.
There you go. I love it. I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah, it's underrated for sure.
Totally, man.
People
Like
just don't know what's out there.
absolutely. Yeah, it's been a pleasant surprise. Like I've had a really good experience since coming out here, and yeah, we kind of landed in a good spot here in the city, and we've made some really good lifelong friends, and yeah, it's been quite a journey.
And Toronto's got some nice green spaces. Like, the last time I went out there for a week, I was in Ajax for training with Volkswagen Audi.
Yeah.
And like, I would just like take my phone, like organic smoothies or organic restaurant, and I would just like pin it, go there, get supper.
Yeah.
And I would just like, sometimes I had friends in Toronto I'd go visit, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to beaches. I'm gonna go to like to the bluffs, and like, you could find like such amazing little part. Like, sometimes I'd be walking. I can't remember where it was, and it was just like walking on the street. Boom! It's like 200 foot wide, just green space. Boom, going down.
That's it. All over the place.
It's like,
all over the place. And no one's ever in any of them. It's bizarre. Go down to just go down to the lakeshore in Lake Ontario. Nobody there. Like, it's just not glorified for some reason. There's no focus on driving people down there. You can, it's all for you. It's a total bizarre thing.
That's how you find your homies, though.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, like every day we go to High Park, and it's just us. And I say to my son, I'm like, look, nobody's around. Look around. There's nobody here. He looks in every direction. It's like, wow.
All for you.
Yeah.
So I guess before we close up and stuff, like, is there a resource for people online to find float centers near them?
Yeah, there's a website that I think is still functioning called flotationlocations.com. I'm pretty sure that's still a thing.
I guess Google kind of does the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, wherever you are, just Google float tank and then your city and see what comes up. But yeah, we're kind of at a place now where there's like kind of one in every main city-ish. Like just off the top of my head, like, I have a friend who has a float center in Burlington, and there's one in Hamilton, there's one in Markham, there's I had some friends who just had one in not North Bay, Thunder Bay, but they just closed. But yeah, they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I think the one in Sudbury, I'm sure COVID didn't help, but I think it was like repairs, because we had went the one time and the tanks weren't working.
Yeah.
And like, the water was cold. So I think they were just getting hit with repairs.
Yeah.
And then probably having to like get a repairman.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. The maintenance of these things is a whole thing. It's been a huge learning curve for me.
Are you like the expert mechanic now in that
I'm
field?
the guy. I'm the guy for our center. It just has to be that way. Like, I have to be, understanding as many of the components as possible with regards to the actual tanks. And like, the good news is our tanks are very modular, and our manufacturer is very active in development. Like, they're constantly improving. Like, it's a growing business. Like, they're very well funded. I think they have like certain like military contracts or something like that. Like they're like, I've gone down there. They're in West Virginia and seen their manufacturing setup. It's like next level. Like, I was very impressed with what's going on there. And yeah, so like, if something breaks down, which happens, wear and tear of this kind of thing over years, we get new parts all the time. Sometimes we have to shut down for a day, install something new. You know, the filtration systems are very, I don't want to say complex, but they're very thorough, and there's some technical aspects to it. Like we adhere to basically like the top standards in the industry with regards to sanitation and filtration. So like we utilize ozone, hydrogen peroxide, and ultraviolet light, and avoid things like chlorine, bromine, harmful chemicals that are sometimes used in things like pools and hot tubs and even
Yeah.
float tanks, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down, in terms of why you kind of want to avoid them if you can. But there's politics involved, and some municipalities, they just group the float tanks under like pool regulations, and they make them use small amounts of
Wow.
chlorine or bromine or things like that. But
No.
I mean, without going too far into it, it's like it's sort of dangerous to have those chemicals in the tank because of the enclosed space. They off gas and create things that are sort of harmful to breathe in.
VOC.
So yeah, exactly. So yeah, like a big part of my responsibility is like maintaining the filtration systems. Yeah.
I heard from a mentor once, never start a business where you don't know how to like run everything yourself, you know?
That's
So
it.
don't
That's
start
it.
a float center if you're not ready to be like the maintenance mechanic.
No, you got it. It's mandatory. There's no one to call. That's the thing. It's like there's no one to call.
Yeah.
You could call a plumber, but they've never seen what you're showing them when they come on site. So it's like luckily it's at this point in time it's easier than when I opened, because there's certain groups of people that can like mentor you and show you how it's done. And I was lucky actually to connect with some of those guys in the States, and I went down to a float center in Portland, Oregon, and you know, basically got mentored in terms of like how to run these things. And then from there, I have like a close relationship with the manufacturer, and like whenever anything's going on, I'm on the phone with him. He's walking me through it, and then you know, I've seen pretty much everything now with our tanks.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a learning curve, and I'm a little bit more comfortable now with whatever comes our way. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we close out, kind of just plug yourself, website, social medias, all the good stuff, where people can find you, anything like that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it, man. It's been
Yeah.
great, like just getting to know you a little bit and becoming friends. And I'm stoked to see you soon when you come down. Make sure you stay in contact when you come down. But yeah, we're Float Toronto, float-toronto.com. That's the website if you want to read more about floating. And you can see where you can book a float. It's just right on the main page there. And there's even a video that is narrated by Joe Rogan on our website. I believe it's on the front page if you just scroll down. Yeah, it is. You'll see it. It's a little 4-minute clip, and that's a good one to watch. That will kind of hype you up for the experience. You probably heard it when you go there. But yeah, Float Toronto on Instagram, and yeah, that's about it, man. Yeah, if anyone's in Toronto, come through for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to.
Yeah, when you guys come, yeah, come try to get a couple floats in if you can, if you have time, but at least one.
We'll try. I'm trying. Like we just got confirmation today, and it's like it's
For
crazy.
sure. I know you're busy.
All this stay and stuff like that. So
yeah, but we got to hang at least one. So
definitely.
Yeah.
You're on the list. You're high at the top of the list, sir.
Sweet, man.
For a visit.
Sweet. I appreciate it, dude. Dude, great job with everything you're doing too. Super proud of you guys. Like just awesome. I'm totally into everything you guys are doing. And like who's ever listening to this, I'm just like 100% certain I'd be friends with who's ever like listening to the Finding Polaris podcast. So yeah, shout out to all the listeners here. I'm sure everybody's just like rad who's like tuned into this.
We like to think so.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. Thanks, man. Okay,
Awesome.
I'm gonna close out here and then do.